Ancient India, a golden age, mighty kingdoms, flying chariots, gods who occasionally popped down to settle an argument, weapons that could vaporize a mountain range. The most advanced civilization the world had ever seen decided to bet all of it on a board game. Mahabharata, Part 1. You know Game of Thrones? Backstabbing family, a throne nobody should have, everyone dies? This is that, except it's 3,000 years older, 7 times longer, and the body count makes Westeros look like a petting zoo. It's so enormous that India's most famous spiritual text, the entire Bhagavad Gita, is just one conversation that happens in the middle of it. A footnote. Today, we're doing the footnote. Everything wrong here traces back to one family. The Kurus. Big family. Loving family. The kind of loving family that settles a property dispute with an 18-day war. And it all starts with a king named Shantanu and the single most overpowered promise ever made. See, Shantanu wanted to marry a fisherman's daughter, but the fisherman had conditions.
Sure, you can marry her, but her son has to be the next king, not yours, hers. Deal?
But I already have a son. The crown is promised to him. I cannot just...
Problem? Shantanu already had a son, the crown prince, Bhishma, the most honorable man in all of India, a title that turned out to be a full-time job and a spectacular career mistake. And when Bhishma heard his dad was sad about a girl, he rode over and fixed it. Permanently.
I give up the throne. And to be safe, I will never marry and never have children. Ever.
Son, that was so much more than I was asking for.
The gods were so moved, they literally rained flowers on him. Everyone else just lost their future king over a crush. Remember this vow. It's about to trap the most powerful man in the country for the next 60 years. So the crown skipped down the family tree and landed on 2 brothers, Dhritarashtra, the elder, wise, powerful, born to rule, and completely blind, which back then legally disqualified you from the job. So close. So the throne went to his younger brother, Pandu, whose name means the pale guy, because he was. Nobody in this story is subtle. You'll see. There was also a third, much smarter brother, Vidura, wise, honest, and therefore completely ignored for the entire story. Pandu got the throne, and 2 wives, because of course he did. Now, one of them, Kunti, had a little secret. As a curious teenager, she'd tested out a magic chant for summoning gods. It worked, on the very first try.
So, the chant worked. The sun god granted me a son, on the first try. And I have read none of the fine print on this.
So she did what any panicking teenager would do. She put the baby in a basket and floated him down a river. Bookmark the river baby. He comes back, he grows up angry, becomes a legend, and helps burn this entire family to the ground. Anyway, the blind brother, Dhritarashtra, married a woman named Gandhari, who, on learning her husband couldn't see, blindfolded herself for the rest of her life, in solidarity.
If my husband will never see this world, then I will not see it either.
An extraordinary act of devotion. Also, as parenting strategies go, a bold one, because together they had 100 sons, and she never once watched a single one of them do anything. And yes, 100 sons is a lot. The legend says it started as a single weird ball of flesh, which got chopped up and stored in 100 jars of butter until each one grew into a baby. Ancient India did not have a fertility clinic. It had jars. The eldest jar baby was Duryodhana, and on the day he was born, the jackals howled and the sky went dark.
These are evil omens, my king. This child will destroy our entire dynasty. We must abandon him. Now.
He is my son, Vidura. I am not throwing away a baby because some jackals are having a bad night.
They did not abandon him. He was very cute. This becomes a problem. Duryodhana grew up furious from birth, proud owner of 99 equally unpleasant little brothers, and a man whose entire personality was not getting the throne and making it everyone's problem. And lurking right behind him, always smiling, always holding a pair of dice, his uncle, Shakuni. Shakuni had his own grudge against this family, and a long, patient plan to burn it down from the inside.
Relax, nephew. We don't need swords. We just need a game and a little patience.
The throne is mine, uncle. Those 5 cousins just don't know it yet.
Those dice are going to win a war without throwing a single punch. Okay, quick geography. We're in northern India, on the Ganges River Plain, the prime real estate of the ancient world. Stupidly fertile. Everybody wanted it. And smack in the middle sits the Kuru capital, Hastinapura. Powerful, wealthy, and about to cause more grief per square mile than anywhere else on Earth. Real estate. It is always real estate. Now, Pandu died young. Long story. Involves a curse and ignoring extremely clear advice. That left his 5 sons, the Pandavas, to grow up in Hastinapura right alongside Duryodhana's 100. And the Pandavas were a problem. Not because they were bad, because they were annoyingly excellent. The eldest, Yudhishthira, so honest he was physically incapable of telling a lie. Keep that one in mind. It gets hilarious later. Bhima, enormous, ate everything, could throw an elephant.
I'm gonna eat, then I'm gonna nap, then I'm gonna throw a guy. Great day.
Arjun, the greatest archer who would ever live. And humble about it in the exact way that makes you want to scream.
Honestly, I'm not the best. I just practice more than everyone else. Okay, fine, I'm the best.
Plus the twins, Nukula and Sahadeva, sons of Pandu's other wife Madri, who are lovely and whom the epic itself mostly forgets about. So we will too. Duryodhana hated them. Specifically, he hated Bhima, who kept casually beating all 100 brothers at everything.
Bhima, cousin, I had the kitchens make you a feast. All for you. Eat up. Every bite.
Aw, Duryodhana, you do love me. Huh. This kind of tastes a little funny.
So Duryodhana did the reasonable thing. He poisoned the food, tied him up, and threw him in a river. Bhima sank to the bottom, took a nap, befriended some snake kings down there, and came back stronger.
Best nap ever.
Murder attempt number 1. A total failure, and, frankly, a fitness program. Both sets of cousins needed training, so the kingdom hired the best teacher money could buy, Drona, a genius warrior priest who took the job mainly because he was broke, and he had a very specific grudge to settle. His childhood best friend, now King Draupadi, had publicly humiliated him for being poor.
We were friends as children, Drona. But a king does not stay friends with a beggar. Run along. Noted. I'll remember that.
File that away. King Draupadi is about to matter a lot. Drona's favorite student, obviously, was Arjun, the prodigy. So when a forest boy named Ekalavya taught himself archery well enough to outshoot Arjun, Drona had a problem. His fix? Charged the kid a teaching fee for lessons he never even gave him.
You're my teacher. I built a clay statue of you and trained in front of it every day. Anything you ask is yours.
Your right thumb. Hand it over. Nothing personal.
He paid it, and Arjun stayed number 1. People were intense about rankings back then. When training was done, the princes threw a giant graduation tournament to show off. The whole kingdom watched. Arjun stole the show. Fire arrows, water arrows, vanishing into thin air. The crowd went insane. And then, a stranger walked into the arena and matched every single shot. Perfectly. Remember the river baby? The one Kunti floated away? He grew up. His name is Karna. Raised by a poor charioteer, mocked his whole life for it, and quietly the best archer alive. Tied with Arjun.
Anything Arjun can do, I can do. Give me the duel. Right now.
But the judges blocked it. A duel had to be prince versus prince, and Karna, as far as anyone knew, was a nobody. And just as they were laughing him out of the arena, Duryodhana saw an opportunity.
He's not a nobody. As of right now, I crown him King of Unga. There. Now duel my cousin.
No one has ever stood up for me. Duryodhana, I'm yours for the rest of my life.
It was pure strategy. Duryodhana just bought the loyalty of the one man who could match Arjun. And Karna, who'd been spat on his whole life, now loved Duryodhana more than anything in the world. Which is going to be a genuine tragedy because of a secret only Kunti knows. But the cousin who actually matters most still hasn't shown up. A charming, flute-playing, deeply unbothered guy named Krishna, who is also, quietly, casually, God. The literal supreme being, hanging out, giving advice, pretending to be a regular cousin.
Hey, what's up? Just... God, don't make it weird.
You're being really weird about this.
I'm always weird about this. You'll get used to it.
Oh, we are going to be talking about him a lot. Now, the kingdom loved the Pandavas. They wanted Yudhishthira to be the next king. Duryodhana wanted Yudhishthira dead, which, by now, was becoming a theme. So he built them a lovely vacation palace and invited them on a relaxing getaway. What a nice gesture. It was built entirely out of lacquer, wax, and dried plant fiber, the most flammable materials known to man. Luckily, wise Uncle Vidura saw it coming and warned Yudhishthira in code, like a normal person.
The one who stays alert in a house with no exits survives the fire. Sleep with one eye open. Dig.
Uncle, was that a riddle? That was a riddle. Okay, we're digging a tunnel.
So they secretly dug a tunnel, and the night the assassins lit the place up, the Pandavas slipped out the back. Murder attempt number 2. Also unsuccessful. But it did get them out of the house, which, honestly, they'd been wanting. Everyone back home assumed they'd burned alive. So the Pandavas did the only sensible thing. They faked their deaths and went into hiding. Disguised as poor, wandering priests, the ancient version of growing a beard and moving to a new city. While hiding, they heard about the wedding of the decade. Remember King Draupadi, the guy Drona humiliated? He'd had a daughter, Draupadi. Brilliant, fierce, born fully grown out of a sacred fire, and the most sought-after woman in India. And she was choosing a husband with a contest. String an impossible bow and shoot a tiny spinning fish looking only at its reflection in the water below. Every king and prince in India lined up. Every king and prince in India ate dirt. Then Karna stepped up to the bow, and Draupadi stopped him cold.
I will not marry the son of a charioteer.
Publicly rejected for his birth. Again. Karna would remember that one for a long, long time. Then Arjun, still dressed as a broke priest, strolled up and nailed it on the first try. Because of course he did. The brothers ran home thrilled and called out to their mother before they were even through the door.
Mom, you won't believe what we won today.
And Kunti, not even looking up, gave the classic mom answer she'd given 1,000 times.
Lovely. Whatever it is, be sure to share it equally with your brothers.
Mother, she's a person. We can't just... But a mother's word cannot be broken. Oh no.
Now, as established, Yudhishthira cannot lie, and a mother's word was sacred law. So Draupadi, an actual human being, was now, thanks to a verbal kitchen accident, married to all 5 brothers. Everyone agreed this was fine. It was not fine, but everyone agreed. Here's the twist. The wedding outed them. The whole country now knew the Pandavas were alive and married to a powerful king's army. Too dangerous to murder quietly now. So the blind king tried to keep the peace and split the kingdom in 2. Duryodhana's side kept Hastinapura, the rich, developed half. The Pandavas got this, a region called Khandava Prastha, a wasteland, a forest, a desert, and vibes. Surely the noble Pandavas would humbly accept their dusty consolation prize. Wrong. With a little divine help from cousin Krishna, they burned the forest down and built, from nothing, the most magnificent city the world had ever seen. Indraprastha. Gold. Marble. A palace with floors so polished they looked like water, and pools so clear they looked like floors. Foreshadowing. Heavy, heavy foreshadowing. Yudhishthira got so powerful he held a grand ceremony and was crowned emperor, with every other king bowing to him. And guess who had to attend, watch, and personally help with the dishes? Duryodhana, who was now, somehow, even more upset.
I am a prince of the Kuru dynasty, uncle, and I just helped clear the dishes.
And then it happened. Touring the dazzling palace, Duryodhana stepped onto what he thought was solid floor and fell straight into a pool of water. The polished floor he mistook for water? Floor. The clear water he confidently walked onto? Water. He got it exactly backwards, in front of everyone. And Draupadi laughed. And in that single splash, the seeds of the deadliest war in human history were sown. Over getting wet at a party. Duryodhana went home vibrating with humiliation. And Uncle Shakuni, who'd been waiting years for exactly this, finally made his move.
We can't beat them in a war, nephew, but Yudhishthira has one little weakness.
What weakness? Tell me everything.
Honest, noble, perfect Yudhishthira had exactly one flaw. He could not say no to a game of dice. And he was terrible at it. So they invited him to a friendly game. Wise Vidura begged him not to go.
This is a trap. The dice are loaded. Do not play this game.
I have been invited by my elders, uncle. To refuse a challenge would not be honorable.
He played the game. And Shakuni rolled with a pair of dice that magically obeyed his every word.
I win. Oh, I win again. Funny how that keeps happening.
Yudhishthira bet gold. Lost. Jewels. Lost. His palace, his city, his cattle, his servants, his whole kingdom. Lost, 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 lost. He could not stop. He bet his 4 brothers. And lost them. He bet himself. And lost.
You still have one thing left to wager, you know. Your wife.
And then, with nothing left, the most honest man in India bet Draupadi. And lost. Duryodhana sent his brother Dushasana to drag Draupadi into the court. As a slave. She came in with one question that nobody in that room could answer.
When my husband had already lost himself and become a slave, what right did he have left to wager me?
Nobody answered. The wisest men in the kingdom, Bhishma, the elders, the blind king, sat in that hall and said nothing. And Karna, still nursing that public rejection, cruelly egged them on. Only one of the 100 brothers, the Karna, stood up and said this was wrong. 1 out of 100. So Draupadi stopped pleading with the men. She closed her eyes and called on Krishna.
And the cloth would not end.
Dushasana pulled, and there was more, and more, until he collapsed, exhausted, buried in fabric, and Draupadi stood untouched. And in that silence, the vows began.
I swear, I will break the thigh Duryodhana bared and drink the blood of the hand that dragged her here.
And I will not tie my hair again until it is washed in Duryodhana's blood.
The war that everyone would later die in, it was declared right here, in this room, by the people they humiliated. Nobody had just gotten around to fighting it yet. Now the blind king finally panicked. He'd heard the omens, jackals howling outside as the vows were sworn, and he tried to undo the whole thing.
Draupadi, you may have anything you wish, your freedom, your husbands, your kingdom, all of it back.
Then free my husbands and give them back their honor. That is all I ask.
And then Yudhishthira, who, I remind you, cannot stop gambling, agreed to play one final round to settle it. Lost. The stakes of that last game had been set in advance. The losers go into exile for 13 years, 12 in the forest. And the 13th, the fun one, they had to live in public, in disguise, completely unrecognized. Get spotted, even once, and the clock resets. Another 13 years. So the 5 greatest warriors alive and their queen walked out of their golden city and into the wilderness. They spent those years training, gathering allies, and Arjun even went up to the heavens to collect god-tier weapons for what was coming. 13 years to plan, 13 years to get angry, 13 years to come back for everything. And after all 13 years, perfectly completed, the Pandavas came back and asked for their kingdom. Politely. Krishna himself rode in as a peace ambassador, asking Duryodhana to give them just 5 villages. 5, to avoid a war.
I will not give them enough land to balance on the tip of a needle.
Then there will be a war. And you, Duryodhana, will lose everything.
That answer would set every king in India against each other, summon the literal god onto a battlefield, and end an entire age of the world. But that's a war, and a war is part 2.
Relax. What's the worst that could happen?
The epic's own body count for that war? Over 1,600 million. But we'll get to that.